All right. Welcome back to the 1% Baseball podcast number 25, brought to you here from the studio in Spring Branch. Just wrapped up a day of training for the boys, getting ready to head out to Houston, but before we hit into any of that, how you guys doing?
Doing great. Happy to be back. It's been a minute. It's been 3 weeks, huh?
Yeah.
A little earlier than the last time. Was it like 11:30? We got in here last time.
That's right.
10:28 as we speak.
Yeah, this won't be a 2-day podcast.
Yeah.
1 day.
It's been good though. We're excited for this weekend. I mean, it's been 2-3 weeks since we've seen the 14s play. 13s got an opportunity to play a few weeks ago on Saturday before it got banged on Sunday due to the weather. But it'll be good. Guys are itching to get back and get to go see some more baseball.
Houston, Texas. Let's go.
There you go.
Let's go.
Well, we were talking here a little bit. School's wrapping up. Summer ball starting for your older boys, which means a few things. A lot more travel for you guys. The transition from your high school boys from their JV and varsity teams to their summer ball traveling teams. And then showcases, and I guess what that entails, recruiting and that sort of thing. So, what are you guys doing to prepare for that?
We got the bugs coming in here right now.
Yeah, I just get a spider.
The door is open. It's like 88 degrees inside of this container right now. No AC. We're trying to get the mace split up. Anyways, I think really the biggest is our shift of focus, especially now, is recruiting becomes a very heavy part of our job, right? We're obviously doing it throughout the year. We're making phone calls, making connections, sending videos out, trying to get guys in a position to get seen, right? But especially now, it becomes heavily revolved around getting guys to the next level, right? We do have a job in that, right? We have some degree of trying to get guys in a position to, one, get seen, but then the second is also get seen by the right type of people. I think a lot of people want to go get seen by everybody, and it's like, man, you don't need to go get seen by everybody. You're not good enough, right? You're wasting your time, you're wasting your money if you're not being realistic with yourself in terms of who you're getting seen by, right? I should have never been in front of the University of Texas and then throw 94 miles an hour from the left side. It was a waste of time, right? So I think be realistic with yourself. Yes, parents, I know you would fucking love for your kid to go play at the University of Arkansas, right? It'd be great. You go to Vanderbilt. I want my kid to go to Vanderbilt. Great, dude. I do too. I probably would too if my son plays baseball. But at the same time, I want my kid to play.
Yeah.
I don't want my kid to be the fucking water boy or the shag boy in the outfield at a 4-year school, and he does that for 2.5 years and says I quit because he's having fun.
And real quick, I want to make this clear. I got a buddy, Mark Harmon. His dad, Tommy Harmon, played over at UT, coached at UT for a long time under Augie, and he gets really frustrated when folks are talking about full rides. And so
that ain't a thing.
Yeah, so talk, Sean, give the lay of the land on that, and kind of what that means for kids looking to play baseball in college, what it means maybe for grades and all that sort of thing. Just give us the broad stroke there.
Yeah, so for baseball, it's 11.7 scholarships amongst 35 guys. 35 guys is on the roster, right? 27 of those 35 travel. Anyways, so 11.7. So if you think 11.7 scholarships and 35 total guys, that's obviously not an even number, right? So there's guys in there that have to be walk-ons, right? Mm-hmm. So there's not a single person that I've ever heard of that is on a full ride for baseball only. But, right, that's when academics start to come into play, right? Because if you hear someone saying, oh, I got a full ride, right, now you're talking of they get maybe 25% of baseball money, right? So the baseball team and the coaching staff is giving them 25% of the scholarship, and then grades are covering the rest, right? Financial aid, stuff like that, going into, depending on how well you do in school, depends on how much money that they give to you, right? And a lot of those private schools, when I went to Incarnate Word at high school, it was $55,000, $60,000, stupid expensive. And I went in there and they gave me my scholarship breakdown, and they were like, okay, so we're going to give you 25% baseball money, but we're going to give you books, tuition, and fees, and then everything else is covered by academics. Because I was able to graduate with a good enough GPA, and even though my SAT score was crap, like it was able to make up for it. And the cool thing about some of these places or some of these universities is what they'll do is they'll give you, if you go in and maintain a 3.0 GPA or higher, they'll keep giving you more money. So essentially, it's like you go in there with $10,000 of academic money. By the time you're a junior, if you have a 3.75 or whatever it may be, you could potentially be getting like 12 to 15, if not even 20K of academic money, right? So again, that just goes back to like you not having to pay anything. But the moral of the story is grades are important, especially in baseball. Because I had a conversation actually when I was at UIW. I was talking to one of the football guys, and he's like, yeah, you know, we have 100, this is a true story, 100 scholarships for football. There's 85 players on the roster. They're on the travel roster, right? So that means 15 of those guys on scholarship aren't even active. They don't go on road trips. They don't suit out for games. They just sit there and hang out in their red shirt and all that stuff, right? So it's an unfair game, just in terms of how much baseball gets shafted in that sense. And right, they're trying to change a lot of that stuff and open up more scholarships for people. But you know, as we play right now, and there were guys that I played with and against in high school and even some in college that they got recruited by good schools, good Division I schools, but they ended up not being able to go because either one, they couldn't afford it, or they didn't have the grades to get in, right? So baseball, even more so than any other sport, like grades are a huge piece of it. And like we're not even going to get into like the makeup side of things from the coaching staff, but if a kid recruits, or if a college coach recruits you, right? Like say, Silver, you're recruiting me and Garrett, right? You're going to offer us the same scholarship. I have a 2.4 coming out of high school, which is good enough, right? But he has a 4.0, and they say the academic department says we can give him $20,000, right? Well, you're going to take him because now you don't have to give me more baseball money, right? So it makes it easier on them to disperse that money up for now they can give it to bits and pieces.
I think that's important for parents and mostly, and more important for the kids, for the athletes, the boys, the girls, the young men, the young women. Like you still got to compete in the classroom, right? Because you're going to give yourself every shot if you really love this, if you really want to achieve playing at the next level. The classroom is just as important as everything. Because almost nobody listening to this podcast is part of that 0.01% that's going to, maybe get a 50% scholarship, right? Whatever. So, what about you, Garrett? What's your?
Well, I mean, going based off of the academics, all the coaches. Few specifically used to hound on like, dude, the classroom tells me everything I need to know about you, right? Like it tells me.
Say that again.
The classroom tells me everything I need to know about you, right? Because in reality, like, dude, if you can't make A's and B's in high school, brother, like, come on, man, like, well, no, if you can't even do it in high school, like, bro, like, you just gotta show up. You gotta write your fucking name on the paper. You gotta have a relationship with the teacher. You gotta sit in the front row. You gotta, dude, this might sound bad to some parents, and if you want to turn it off, you can. You don't even have to fucking study.
Yeah.
Like, honestly. Like, I rarely studied, and like maybe I'm just one of those gifted ones where I get to. I don't think so though.
Yeah.
Like
I don't either.
I just think that I just paid attention enough.
Yeah.
Right? I give a shit enough, and like I had a little bit of competitive want to like not be the dumbest person at my school. Like I wanted to be up there, and I also knew, hey, if I want to go, just not even play baseball, like go to college where I want to go. If I want to go to A&M, I want to go to UT, I want to go to TCU. I better make some grades, bro.
And I want to touch on this too, and that's a really good point. Is a lot of kids they miss the mark. Meaning it's like they get in there freshman, sophomore year of high school, they don't really care. Junior year, it's like, ooh, mom and dad, I want to play college baseball. I want to go to Texas A&M. I want to go to wherever it is, these high prestigious schools. And now you know what happens? Those grades follow you. right? So like when you dig a hole for yourself, you got to come at like you're making it that much harder. It's not like the moment you make that decision, like it starts over, right? So like if you get in that hole of 2-3 years of like being a crappy student or not caring, like it becomes hard to get out of that. And again, like colleges, they don't care, man. Like they want people in there that's going to keep bringing them money that protects the integrity of their university. Well, that's what it boils down to.
I put myself in a position where I took as many AP and pre-AP courses as I could every year. Like it didn't matter. I was taking as many as I could because I just wanted the multiplier on the GPA, right? So like if I got, I used to do all these numbers in my head and like try to keep up with the shit because my parents were on my ass. But it was like, I would do these numbers like, okay, if I take this class and I get an 80, it's the same as me getting like a 95 in like a whatever class, right? So I mean, I was always that forward thinker of like, how can I leverage the system to work in my favor, man?
And not only that,
you have to leverage the system, like meeting your teachers, going in for extra work, going in to talk to them, building a relationship. How hard is it just to like go talk to your teacher, get to know them, because they're human people too, bro. They're not using a robot to grade their shit like. When you write that dog shit essay and she knows the name on the top of that paper and she reads it, she's like, I like that kid. I really like that kid. I'm gonna give him an A-. You know what I mean? Like,
and I don't know. It's different every school, but like when I was in high school, we were very fortunate of having dual credit, to where it was like Blinn College would come in and you could take certain classes. Now you had to pass like standard tests to be able to like qualify to get in this. Yeah. But it's a college class in high school. These professors come in, you take these college classes, and if you pass, then it's a letter grade, right? So it's just a pass or fail. Sorry, not a letter grade, it's pass or fail. And so if you pass these classes, now it counts towards college. So when I graduated high school, I already had like 9 or 12 credits of college stuff. So now, again, you're just making it that much easier, man. But it's like, you got to care, right? Yeah. You got to care because the kids that I've come across, like being in college, when we get to college, that they're not the forward thinker. They don't have that initiative to like want to do good in the classroom, man. Like you dig yourself in a hole in college and you're having to take these shitty classes that no one wants to take your first semester. And now it puts you behind because now, rather than you graduate in 4 years, you got to stay 4.5, 5 years, right? And you got to do all this, take these victory laps that no one wants to do while all your friends are out in the real world, like getting jobs and stuff. So you're just putting yourself ahead of the system to where you can take what you want. There's always a luxury for that. Take what you want and just be in a little bit more of an advantage point.
Yeah, and I think get back to kind of like baseball and the money from that side. I think every coach is going to be different, right? But like rule of thumb for the people listening is you're generally going to see the guys like from a coach's perspective, they're going to give more money to the guys on the mound that can get it done for them, right? Like they look at the mound and the guys on the mound as like the luxury. Like if I can go get a big time arm that's going to be my Friday night guy in a year or 2 years, could be this year, right? And he's going to go win me baseball games. I'm going to give more money to that guy, right? So your good pitchers, your like top of the line, cream of the crop pitchers are going to make most money, just like in the MLB. You know what I mean? Like historically in the MLB.
In football, your skill positions, right?
Right.
Or the 6'8" linemen.
They get paid most of the money, right? And then you're probably going to pay a little bit more money for the shortstop, right? And maybe the center fielder. But
catcher, all that stuff.
And then down the line from there, it just becomes less and less. I want to say the lowest you can give it is 25%, right? Yeah, so
there's talks of them like raising that, lowering it to where now, well, they're trying to lower it so everyone else can start to get more of that. That's a topic for another time.
Yeah. But basically, that's who's going to get the money, right? It's the top of the line pitchers, and then you're going to have, your better position guys that you think are going to make an impact, and then you're going to have a ton of walk-ons, man.
And let me say this right now before we get too involved. If you sign. Right, so say you go to the University of Texas on a 25% scholarship, that's not guaranteeing anything. Even if they keep you, I've seen it happen every single year, right? They may keep you, but they take that money from you because you're not worthy of it, and they say, hey, we got another guy that we're trying to go get. he deserves this money. Your money's gone. So you gotta prove yourself every single time.
No. It's guaranteed for 1 year.
For 1 year.
Parents didn't know it. So like if you sign for money, so this is a good talk so people understand this. If you sign for money, right? Okay, so some people don't sign for anything. Like some people go to National Signing Day, and they're just writing a letter of intent that has nothing to do with money. They're not getting money. It's a walk-on spot, right? But if you are signing and they are giving you 25% plus, you are guaranteed 1 year of that money. But if you wrap up the end of that year and you had a dog shit year and they see zero for you, they will take the money away. Because if they take the money away from you at semester in December or whenever during that year, if they take that money from you, they lose it for the upcoming season.
Yeah, because
I think it's 1 calendar year.
Yeah.
It's 1 calendar year you have it. Not season, but calendar year.
So Harmon and I were talking, and I was like, well, dude, you got your 11, and the next year you got another 11. He's like, no, it's not 11 additional scholarships. It's the same 11, whatever.
At the time.
Every year you're having to compete for that same pot of money.
Yeah, so we knew, I did like Coach Marshall, I don't know if this is true, so I'm not going to use his name, but there was guys that I knew that they would try to structure it to whereas the seniors got older, right? And especially as they got some more scholarship from academic or whatever, that as the guys got older, they would check with them first, but it would be kind of like, hey, I'm going to back this money, some of your money down. I'm going to back that down so we can go get a better guy, right? Yeah. So they try to structure, different coaches have different flavors of how they're going to make it work, right? But they're going to structure it in a way that's going to allow them to go get the next guy, right? Hey, my number one dude, my 4-hole, whatever, if I can take some money from him, even though, I don't want him to leave, but, he's on board for us to go get somebody else so we can help win, they can do that. You know what I mean? So.
Now, the next thing is, especially a lot of these private schools is obviously private schools are more expensive historically. It just
but they've got more wiggle room, right?
That's what I was getting to. Is these private schools can offer a lot more academic money. When I went to UTSA, it was the most they gave a fraction, a third of what I got at UIW, but because it was a public school, so tuition's already cheaper. So it's if Rice University comes calling you and it's $70,000 a year, don't freak out yet because they may say, hey, we have the potential, and I didn't know this, so I started getting recruited, we have the potential to give you $35,000 of academic money if you have the grades to do that. I don't know if that's true. I'm just saying, hypothetically, based on what private schools can get. So it's a lot. There's a lot to it. But the biggest thing I tell all of our players and tell parents is entertain everyone that calls. You got to hear them out, right? Because unless you've been through it, you don't really know. Because again, each school is different, right? The way they run their financial department when it comes to money is way different. So you got to hear kind of how they do that before you make any assumptions.
So what about that new rule? I think it's a new rule I saw on Twitter about contacting players. You can't contact a player till
it's a game changer.
So if you talk about that, because it's funny because there's kids here locally in the San Antonio. We're all over the state, really. They've got commitment letters to play at LSU or wherever. They're 14, 9, 16, it doesn't matter. But talk about the contact rule, kind of what it was before, what it is now, and then why it's a game changer.
I don't know exactly how it goes all the way down the line, but I knew when I was growing up that a coach could not start contact until your junior year fall.
September 1st, your junior year was the rule that they could call you.
They could reach out first, right? Yeah. Now, it was kind of weird how this worked too. There was a lot of gray area. If there was interest, right? Let's say there was interest in Sean and the University of whatever, TCU reaches out, or I'll just use SMU, right? No, SMU.
You use TCU.
Who was the one that
TCU
was recruiting you and you didn't have the grades to get there?
Oh, Stanford?
So Stanford was recruiting Sean,
Can
right?
you imagine that? Spell Sean.
They called, so one of them...
let's say Stanford's recruiting Sean because they were. If before his junior year, September 1st, if they wanted to talk to him, basically what they could do is get in contact with the high school coach or his travel ball coach and say, hey, send Sean my number and have him call me or text me so that we can talk. So you were able to start that conversation like that. It was because the player was reaching out, not him.
Gotcha.
Right? And so there was a lot of stuff like that, right? There was supposed to be zero contact before that point, but I don't know what had changed recently. But now what they're trying to do is basically leverage that back to like literally zero contact. Because all these people that are committing, it's like a 2026 right now as a freshman or 2027, right? A lot of that's going through the parents. Like the kid can be on call and talk, but he's not supposed to be like having conversations with them, right? But
gotcha.
You know what I mean? And so there's just a bunch of rules. And I don't think that part's super important. I think the part that is important is I think you take the game back to what it's supposed to be about.
Well, it goes back to how it was before everything started going through Twitter and like blowing up like these 12-year-olds.
I think 12-year-olds are still going to blow up. I think coaches are still going to follow kids at that age, right? They're going to keep up with them. That's their job. They have to do their job and find an edge, right? But I think that it's going to take back a little bit of the game and bring it back to the players of like, man, like, you got to remember, you're playing this for the love of the game.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't actually love this and all you're trying to do is earn a scholarship, like, I get it, man. Like, get your money, go do what you want to do, like, be as successful as you want to be. But so many people that we talk to are so over-consumed by this, we lose what's truly important about the game, right? We lose the pieces of growing up in the game and taking the lessons from the game, not like lessons, but life lessons from the game and building on that. And so many kids at fucking 15 years old have so much pressure on themselves to go perform and get recruited. And it's like, dude, that's not what it's about.
Yeah. I don't know how many times I've been asked, they're like, well, what's your goal for your son? I'm like, well, shit.
Nothing. I want him to be fucking.
Yeah, I want him to have fun. You know, I want to give him every opportunity to be good. But if, you know, we're not planning we're not, you know, buying a house in Fort Worth because TC, you know, we're not doing it like. But like, would I love if he played Major League Baseball? Of course, I'm not a bad word, right? But you know, as long as he's having fun, I think that's the most important thing. Is if they're having fun. But if your goal is to get a scholarship, and that's a, you know, I think it's important to realize that's a very lofty goal.
It's big.
And there's a lot more than just baseball work. And
we're seeing it right now. It's like so many kids go to high school and they've played select baseball. So like this is what's wrong with it right now. Like, I'm explain it like this. Is so many kids are playing for teams, right? Like our end goal for Sean and I is to get to a point where you come into our system and every freaking kid at 17 years old is committed to a school. That's the vision for what we do.
Of course.
Right? Because we want to create an actual like true player development program that's working. And I think that what is actually wrong with that is so many kids can go pay to play for whoever they want, right? Which is okay. Like, you know, you want to give your kid opportunity, go pay for it. That's great. But you create a false reality, right? So you got 12 guys, 13 guys on your team. You're basically playing every day in every tournament. We've already got guys that can't go start on their high school team. We know people that don't even, like, it's across the board. Any kid on any select team in this area that is on the team, right, is potentially sitting the bench at his high school, right? There's teams that kids are playing for these big organizations. They're sitting the bench at their high school, and people are all pissed off. And it's like, dude, like, we got to understand that getting a scholarship to go play college baseball is not as easy as it sounds, right? So it's like, man, dude, what are you actually playing the game for? What are you actually trying to do? Are you playing it because you love it, or are you doing it for a scholarship? Because that is a very fleeting goal, right? Like it is truly fleeting, because a lot of guys don't realize this either. Dude, you get into college baseball, it is a whole other world.
Yeah. In
terms of expectations, in terms of workload, in terms of what it takes. Like, dude, I had so many guys that we played with that hated playing fucking college baseball. Hated it. Because it's a lot.
Yeah.
Dude, you go to junior college, we practice 5 hours a day, 7 fucking days a week.
Man.
That doesn't, I'm practice.
Yeah.
We're not talking workouts.
Yeah.
We're not talking school. We're talking
Practice. School, right, yeah. So
It's junior college school, though. It can't be that bad.
Hey, the hardest classes I ever took were junior college. I swear to God.
But even I want to kind of dive into that rabbit hole too. Is it's from the recruiting side too, though. Like that new rule it's going to help even that playing field out a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it's like, man, like one of my roommates in college, we were sitting. I think it was our freshman year. And he was telling me a story. He goes, yeah, when I was 14, TCU called and I went on an unofficial visit and they gave me, they offered me. And he goes, I can't even wipe my ass yet. He's like, why? He goes, what business at 14 years old do I have to commit to a school?
Yeah.
And so those schools, like they start to backfill everything. And it started, I mean, you see it now, like LSU committing, what was it? Like an 8th graders, 7th grader, whatever it was. And it's like, because the recruiting world gets so competitive, naturally it starts to backfill and go lower down the line to where now like guys that are late bloomers, there's no chance for them, right? But you add this new rule in, it's like when it actually becomes time to get recruited, even if you're a quote later bloomer, like you're still giving yourself a shot and the recruiting game hasn't gotten past you.
Yeah.
Well, you've told me multiple stories about this too, and I've heard them. Just for parents listening, you see these kids that are getting committed as a 8th grader, 9th grader, 10th grader, right? Sophomore in high school. It is a verbal agreement only. Verbal.
Yeah.
There's nothing on paper saying that kid will go to that school.
Yeah.
And we know so many people that have been committed early, and then they get to signing day, and they get a call from the fucking coaching staff saying, we don't have money for you. We can't give it to you.
Hey, don't be saying that shit no more.
Happened at Texas Tech. Like recently, that's the most recent one that like blew up.
TCU, sorry, Silver.
Yeah, it happens at TCU. Like it just happens, right? Yeah. And it's like just for parents listening, is like just because you see people, don't get FOMO.
Hey, yesterday's price is not today's price.
Don't get FOMO because like if this kid, because this happens to, and I don't think it's everybody, but this kid might commit and then he doesn't pan out when he's a junior or senior, right? And so they're like, well, fuck, this guy's not the guy. Like he's not it. So we're gonna drop him, right? And then he's pulled himself off the table for 2 years. And then now he's got to go reopen his recruiting process. And it's just like, dude, don't commit that early. Don't.
Well, so like with that sort of exposure, it doesn't make it, I think for that kid, it doesn't make it any easier.
It makes it way harder.
Yeah, because now you're under the microscope.
For sure. But I mean, too, is we kind of talk about like the pressure that gets put on kids. Well, it's hard, man. Like when you look around and it's like you see yourself at 15 years old and you have dreams to go play college baseball. Like, how do you not
want to bite at it?
Yeah, like how do you not want to bite at it? How does it not eat at you that it's like you think you're doing something wrong when there's 15-year-olds that are committing to LSU and stuff like that? So like subconsciously the recruiting world and the way it's kind of happened has like put this notion, back to what we said a minute ago, put this notion into people that it's like you got to be doing everything you can at 14 and 15 when it shouldn't be that way.
No, it's about learning the game.
Absolutely, right? When it's important to get recruited when you're 17, 16 for some guys, right? But when you're 17 and going into your senior year, like that's when it matters, right? And that's when you got to go full head of steam in it.
You should be so focused on your process and what you need to be doing and taking the information from your failure in the game and your struggle in the game and go make it better on your own with a coach and whatever, and just consistently refine the process. Man, stick your head down and fucking work.
Yeah.
Just work and work and work. Don't give a shit about who's talking about you. Don't give a fuck about your PG rankings. That shit's stupid as fuck. I hope they ban PG rankings until you're fucking 16 years old. Like, stop worrying about that. Because if you're comparing yourself, you're creating this space.
Sure.
You're already creating, just like Sean was saying, these kids that are, if you are a kid that's looking at these guys committing, and he's the same age as you, and you're an 8th grader, freshman in high school, right? And you're looking at that, you're creating space away from your goal. Don't worry about that shit.
Yeah.
Don't even put light to that. Like, I'm on my own journey and my own process to get to my end game, and whatever that end game is, right?
Yeah.
Like, you should dream. I want you to dream. Everybody here should be dreaming to go play Division I baseball. Everybody should be dreaming to go play MLB baseball. That's the goal. If you're not dreaming of that, like, hey, it's not nothing wrong with you, but man, maybe this might not be for you. Like at the end of the game, like I hope you have that goal, right? But don't put that space in between you to where you're more worried about that than what your process is, and actually loving the game and learning how to be good within the game.
Yeah, one of the things that, as a parent, that I've encountered here over the last few weeks is, our season will be over, and so we'll have a whole summer, and is like entertaining the thoughts to go. Folks are like, hey, we're gonna put together a league. Our team. We're gonna be local. We help and do this, and you're thinking about it, and I'm wondering. I was like, well, we played. When it's all said and done, we'll play close to 40 games or more games. Some kids play more. I'm just saying this is what we've done. We've thrown a lot. We've done a lot. And for us, I think this is something parents should consider. All that we're likely going to focus on, if he's up to it, because I can't work out for my son, just to work hard. What were your deficiencies? What do you want to do? Do you want to work hard? What do you want to? How do you want to get better?
Yeah.
Take the break away from the game, and what do you want to do to get better? If that's a few weeks, if that's a month, that's whatever. If there's some pickup games, we're going to do a little league. We'll have some fun. But what are your thoughts about that? About going into a kids who played fall, now they're playing spring, now they're playing summer, and I want to be clear. I think that's fine if you're developing, whether through your coaches, through your system, through your support system at home. But if you're just playing games, anyway, talk about that.
I think it's going to come from the kid because
it's more about this is the thing that you always have to ask is like all these big player development companies always shit on. It's like, why are you going to a showcase just pitching? Pitching's easy to describe. Why are you going to a showcase if you're throwing 82 miles an hour? Why are you doing it? Why are you playing, honestly, if you're throwing 82 miles an hour? Why are you playing?
You're talking about older kids.
Right. And why are you playing? Because at the end of the day, it's like, dude, you're not at the point where you need to be. Right? If the goal of a kid at this age is to get recruited, if one of our 14 says, my goal is to go get recruited to play college baseball. Well, brother, you throw 74 miles an hour right now. Congratulations. That's getting you nowhere. Probably not even today starting on your high school team. Yeah. So do you want to go play more and throw 70? Because throwing in game and facing competition is not going to make you throw harder. It's not. It's not going to make your breaking ball better. Yeah, you might throw it for a strike a little bit more, but it's still dog shit spinning breaking ball that does nothing, right? Yeah. If you can hit, right, whether or not you can hit or not hit, if you can't get a ball out of the fucking infield, you're not starting on your high school team. Yeah. So why don't we go get stronger? Why don't we go develop stronger ball flight, balls off the bat, whatever you want to call it? Why don't we go develop those things and then show back up in the fall as a different player, right? And so I think that it's like just playing the game. Like, yeah, you can develop during practice, but it's not fully about it's not fully about your development. We even talk about that right now with our guys. It's like, look, we have to focus more on what the team is struggling with. Mm-hmm. I can't focus just on you. Yeah. Like, yes, we want to focus on you. We're going to make you individually better, but that does not mean that you are going to get to a point within a team practice setting that is just the end goal. You know what I mean? So I think like it's more so about, hey, can we actually go develop something that is worthy of getting to the next level, right? Whether that's high school or college, whatever that is.
Yeah, that's well said. It's tough for me to talk about that because I was always a dude that just loved playing baseball. So for me to sit here and say you got to take a break from the game, I always thought that was stupid because that's all I wanted to do. But if you are someone like you're a kid,
the thing is you can find a game.
No, that's what I was getting to, right? Like if you're one of those dudes, it's like, man, like, I love being out there. I just love playing, right? You got to keep your priorities straight, right? When you're not in season, like if you're under high school, so you play in the spring, you don't play in the summer. It's fine to go play some pickup games, but you got to keep what's important, right? The main goal has to be the main goal, right? Meaning, like, if I'm on a long toss program or I'm on a velo program or whatever it is, like, everything else takes a back seat to that, right? I shouldn't be going and pitching 150 pitches on a weekend if I'm throwing 4 days during the week to develop my arm strength. Right. So you got to keep all that in perspective. Like if you are one of those guys that's like, I want to go play more because I just love to play, that's fine. Right. But you gotta take a deep, long dive of what you need to get better. And that has to be the main goal, and everything else takes a back seat to that.
Yep.
Well said.
I wanna dive. I know we talked about recruiting. That was like the main talk of this. We kind of went off on some tangents. I'll go kind of teach, like just give everybody what they need to hear. Like, man, you should not worry about recruiting until you're getting to your 16U fall, or like your junior, that summer before your junior year is when you really need to start pushing it, right? And so I kind of go into some stuff, kind of debunk some things. If I miss anything, just like jump in and tell me. But really, at the end of the day, here's what it is to start. You're marketing yourself. You're a salesman of who you are as a baseball player. A couple things. You need to know what you're good at. You need to sell yourself on that. What you're bad at, you need to consistently keep getting better, because there's somebody else in another city, another state that has more pieces than you, and you need to keep working at the things that you're not good at, but you sell yourself on the things that you are. And so what I mean by that is, man, you need to be posting, especially in today's recruiting world, you need to be posting your stuff on Twitter, right? Like you need to be posting your highlights. You need to show you're good at bats. You need to show your good swings. Obviously, if a guy makes an error on a ground ball through the infield, don't post that as a hit, right? That's not a hit, right? Like you got to show off your doubles. You got to show off your power. You got to show off your speed, right? Like if you're a guy, like we got a couple guys on 17s that can bunt and run and fucking bust it down the line under a 4-second 90 feet, right? If you can do that, show that off, man. People like that stuff.
Yeah.
And so you have to market yourself. Twitter is a great platform to market yourself, because that is where most of recruiting is happening today. The first thing I say, go make a Twitter profile. You need to show your height, weight, your GPA, what high school you go to, what select team you play for, right? Once you do that, make it a professional profile. Don't tweet your bullshit on there. Don't tweet about fucking going out and partying. Don't tweet about...
Be careful.
You gotta be careful about what you say.
What you like, because that crap pops up. I've heard multiple stories of dudes not getting recruited because of
what they like,
what they retweet, and what their interactions are. So so it goes deeper than just like what you're posting, right? What you interact with plays a big role into that, because they go, if they like you, they're gonna go through your profile and they're gonna look, because again, just like we talked about with the classroom,
shithead.
They're gonna find out everything they need to know off of your Twitter profile.
Yeah. Then the next thing I say with the Twitter profile, you need to go follow every college coach in the nation. Just go follow them, right? They might not follow you back. So what? You don't give a shit. Go follow them. And then as time goes, as people start to hear your name, as you gain traction, they will start to follow you back, and they will create those connections, right? And so once you create that Twitter profile, and once you stay active on there, posting from your games, the next thing I would tell you to go do, and this is again at 16 years old, go make a list of your top 50 schools that you would go to. You know what I mean? Give me 10 of your dream schools, right? And then go give me 40 of realistic schools, junior colleges, Division II, Division III. Because when you do that, now I have a list of who I am going to target and really push myself. I've done the research. I would go to that school based off location, based off of the degree plan, based off the coaching staff, right?
Well, there is no Division II football or baseball, right?
There is.
Okay.
There you got Division I, Division II, Division III, junior college, and NAIA, right? Within junior college, you have Division I, Division II, and Division III junior college.
Okay.
Right, so there's a lot of shit, a lot of schools, man.
Gotcha.
Hey, there's a place to play for everybody, right? So once you do that, right, and you've created all that list, man, email them constantly. Make your name known. Again, you're a marketer yourself. They might not respond to you ever, but it doesn't matter. We tell all of our guys, all you need is one. There's thousands of schools in the nation. All you need is one person to give you a chance. Who fucking cares if they don't respond to you? It doesn't matter. Like, you are trying to get yourself seen and heard and recruited. Speak your message. Your message is you as a baseball player, right? And so as you go into that junior year, you need to be at that junior year summer, wrapping up sophomore year, right? Sophomore year summer, right? Going into junior year. As you wrap up your sophomore year of high school baseball, you need to have film, you need to have video, you need to have stuff to be able to send out. And as you play during that going into junior year summer, you should be emailing those coaches your tournament schedule. You should be sending them updates with video. You need to be tagging them and shit. You need to be reaching out as much as possible so that you get seen. They see it, man. That's their job. They see that stuff, whether they respond, like it, or do whatever, they see it. They know who you are, right? And you just keep pounding them all the way through. And you get into your junior year, man, you go after it. That's when you start going to these showcases, right? Like your fall of your junior year, you should be going to some showcases in the fall. You should be getting your name out there, right? You be going to as much stuff as you can to get seen. That's the time to start spending money on showcases, right? Do you have anything on that?
No, I mean that's basically it. And again, like, prepare yourself, and especially going into everything matters, man. Like if I've heard this from college coaches, multiple, all of them really, is that it goes deeper than the game too, man. Like, you got to carry yourself with confidence in a respectable, like, professional manner. Because the first thing they're going to do is, if they like you, if the college coach pops into one of your games and sees you run a 4-1 down the line, which is fast on a ground ball, or sees you, like, pounding the zone, and he likes what he sees, now he's going to pay attention to what you're doing when you're not playing, right? He's going to worry about and look for how you're interacting with your teammates. What kind of guy is he? Is he looking over, asking mom to get a Gatorade from the concession stand, right? Paying attention to that stuff. So it all matters, right? And again, it's like you're on a business trip at that point, right? Like, and you got to carry yourself as if everyone's watching, because someone's dad may be there that's best friends with the head coach at TCU or anything like that, where it's one phone call away, man. Like Simon Miller, UTSA. Probably going to get drafted this year, 95, 96? Yep. Touching sevens, right? This dude got recruited. This is a true story. One of my roommates in college, his granddad is very, very, very good friends with Coach Hallmark at UTSA. And this was when this coaching staff was at Incarnate Word with us. So my roommate, one of his cousins, they live in Canton, where Simon's from. And the granddad was watching his grandson play, and noticed this dude on the mound just shoving. The kid had no offers, was kind of whatever, like, didn't really entertain the thought about playing college baseball because, like, no one really came to call him. He made one phone call to that coaching staff, and they're like, okay, we'll go check him out. Boom. Now he's arguably, on some polls, the best closer in Division I baseball in the whole country.
He has the number 3 ERA in the nation right now.
So again, everyone knows everyone, right? So it's like, even if you don't see college coaches in those stands, maybe they're sitting behind left field watching, right? Maybe they don't want you to know that they're there. Yeah. But there's eyes everywhere, man, because everyone knows someone.
And those scouts, those cross-checkers, those recruiters, they don't care who you are. They love it, right? They part of their job and their lore is finding that diamond in the rough, finding that person. So it doesn't matter if I go to see Sean. This is what I've heard, right? I'm no expert. I go to see Sean, but Garrett shows up. I'm not heralded.
Yeah.
Well, damn. Now I'm
absolutely.
Now I'm rocking and rolling with Garrett a little bit.
And again, like, for the players listening, like, you got to change your perspective too. If someone like me and Garrett are on the same team, and Garrett's getting heavily recruited by whatever schools, right? Any school. Rather than you, the player, not being recruited, being ass hurt and pouty about it, be like, damn, like, that's an opportunity for me, right? These schools are showing up to watch him. So who else are they going to watch? Me. Yeah. Right? So if I go out there and do what I'm capable of and do my thing, they're going to turn heads and be like, well, I want that dude now. Yeah. Because he busts balls and has a mindset and a skill set that I want, right? So, man, like, you gotta view that as a win, right? Just because you're not getting recruited right now, if you surround yourself with good players and good talent, they will show up to come find you.
So let me keep going and finish like the talk on like timing and everything. Sure. So you finish up your junior year, you start going into summer ball, the junior year, summer in between junior year and senior year, right? That is the most important season of high school select baseball, right? That is when you need to be doing everything possible, and that's probably when you need to be hitting it the hardest, right? Like, The spring season in high school, you need to be starting, if you're not getting reached out to, right? If you're not having people talk to you yet, you need to be emailing coaches every freaking day, right? Everyone. Because again, you're just looking for an opportunity. If you really want to play, you got to do your due diligence. And, you know, I'm going to shit on our 17s right now. None of those dudes are reaching out on their own. You know what I mean? Like, you are a salesman of yourself. You have to email. It's not my dream. I already fucking played, bro.
Yeah.
I've already done it. Yes, I want to help you. Yes, I want to get you there. But if you're not willing to email for yourself, why am I doing the work for you? You know what I mean? That's not my job. Like, my job is to get you better at the end of the day. My job is to make you the best baseball player you can be.
Yeah.
Right? And if you're not good, I can't get you recruited in the first fucking place. Right? So do your part. I'm going to do mine and get you better. Yes, I'll reach out if you are good, but I'm not going to reach out and put my name out for you if you're not worth the shit. Like, they're going to look at me and be like, you're a fucking idiot. I'm never going to listen to what you say ever again.
But if a kid comes to you and says, hey, coach, I'm drafting an email, can you take a look at it for me?
100%. That's what we do.
We see it all the time.
We're not, yada, yada.
Exactly. Yeah.
And please do that. Please have someone proofread it, because some of the stuff we've seen, like, it looks like a third grader put it together.
Yeah,
because again, like, man, it all speaks to who you are. How you present yourself speaks to who you are. So if they read an email that's like very poorly grammared, like, they're gonna be like, well, this dude like clearly doesn't have the grades to get in here anyways.
Or it doesn't matter. Like, or it seems like it doesn't matter to them. It's like, hey, we'd love to come play for you. Thanks, bye. Like, you know what I mean? It needs to be detailed. The emails need to be focused about who you are. You know what I mean? What's your GPA? What do you want to get your degree in? What positions you play? How hard you throw? All that. Just everything. What are you involved in outside the classroom? Right?
Make it personable.
Who do you play for? Right? And then tell them why you want to play for them. Why do you want to play for TCU? Why do you want to play for A&M? Why do you want to play for junior college in Tennessee? Right? Tell them why. Let them know. And tell them you're willing to do whatever it takes to get there, and you would love to talk to them, and any chance to get in front of them, please let me know. Right? And so you get into your junior summer, going into senior year, that's the year that you need to be going to every single showcase possible, right? You need to be trying to get in front of as many schools as possible, right? We tell our guys, don't go to a school that is only going to be that school. You got to make the most of your time, right? You want to get into showcases that have multiple college coaches in the same place so that you can use your money wisely, and that you're putting your money to work for you a little bit more in terms of like getting seen by more people all at once, right?
Yeah, unless that school's reaching out to you.
And it's serious. Like, it's like you're having phone conversations, you're texting a bunch, there's a lot of updates, and they tell you, hey, I want you to come, that's different. But if you just get, because like, if you're not at this point yet, and you're a freshman, 8th grader, maybe a sophomore still, 7th grader, and you're getting emails saying, hey, come to this showcase, hey, come to X school and come to this camp that we have. That's a money grab. Like, honestly, it is a money grab. You're wasting your money. You're going and doing something that, they'll see you. Yeah, they're going to pay a little bit of attention, but you're not really there to get recruited.
And if you don't know, like, what some of that stuff looks like, ask.
Yeah.
Right? Ask your coach. Ask people that have been involved with that and see. Because, like, last week I got an email from Perfect Game about a showcase.
Sean
25.
25-year-old.
I'm like, I have 0 eligibility left. Like, I don't think I'm going to be attending that. Right? So there's a bunch of crap out there. So make sure if you get stuff like that, check in with people that are on the front lines of all that and see.
Yeah, it's like you just got to do your job in terms of getting recruited. Like, some people, like, everybody wants to ask, like, hey, do I need to sign up for this recruiting platform or that recruiting platform? Man, like, if you've got the money, sure. You know, like, if they're going to charge you for it, like, if that's really, you're really willing to invest that much money into it, go for it, right? It'll help you, but you don't need it, right? Like, me and my parents, we never did anything paying for any showcase whatsoever. The one I did was UIW, right? It was like $75 to go to this shit. And me and my dad, we'd get all these emails all the time from these schools saying, like, hey, come check us out. We didn't know if they were real or not. And it was just like, man, like, I'm not going to go all the way to Ohio, because everybody at our age, and maybe even still now, got freaking emails from Ohio University saying, hey, we'd love to come to see us and, like, come to a camp. I ain't going all the way to Ohio to go to a fucking recruiting camp. Like, I'm not doing that, right? But then I go to UIW, and they offer me on the spot, right? So, like, some of these, like, do your homework, right? Like, reach out to them. If they really want to see it, they'll respond to you. They'll talk to you, right? If they don't respond to you, dude, move on. Like, it's not that big of a deal. And so it's like, you don't have to be on these recruiting platforms. You don't have to pay all this money to get recruited. You know what you need to do to get recruited? Be the best fucking baseball player in the city, at your school, on your select team. If you're the best fucking guy out there, you're the biggest dude, you're the strongest dude, you throw the hardest, you hit the ball the hardest consistently, and you run fast, you'll get fucking recruited with no effort, right? So don't lose sight of that. So many people are in this rat race of, I got to get myself recruited. Fuck the rat race, bro. Go get better. Yeah. Save the money that you'd spend to go to this stupid-ass PG ranking bullshit showcase.
And we like PG, which just...
No. We love PG. No. Sorry, I don't want to...
I want to be clear. We love PG.
We love PG. We play PG tournaments all the time. It's more so like guys don't need that. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to get at right now, is guys don't need that to actually get recruited. You save your money, go invest in a weight room, go invest with a strength coach, go invest with somebody that is willing to do whatever it takes for you on the mound or in the box from a lesson perspective. Play for a team that actually gets you better and worse at that shit. Yeah. And you go get after it. And when you are 16, 17 years old, if you're a dog, they will find you.
Yeah. It sounds like you're saying when you're ready, right? So get yourself ready.
Get yourself ready.
Before, don't skip to step 6.
Yeah, and I was going to touch on that. I was going to touch on that. It's different for everyone. Right. Well, number one, everyone peaks at different stages. Right. We already kind of touched on that of why this new rule is going to be so great for a lot of guys. But also, like, if you're a guy where you're a D3 guy, which is fine. Right. There's people that the best school that they can go through based on their God-given talent is Division III. Perfectly fine. Right. The timeline that they recruit is behind Division I's. Right, so it's different for everyone, and again, that goes back to like the self-awareness stuff of you knowing yourself, like where can I go, what's going to be the right fit for me, and not again getting in that rat race of, well, Johnny on my team, he's getting calls from LSU and Vanderbilt and Arkansas, but he throws 95. Well, obviously they're going to go after that guy, and whenever all those Division I's get picked up, then everyone else comes in and gets who they want.
That's right. It's like be realistic with who you are. That's my final thought for. Just recruiting side, be realistic with who you are. You got to understand, hey, you're not at that level. If you're a junior on JV, right? Like, man, stop. You shouldn't even be considering Division I baseball. Yeah. If you're hold on. If you're a guy on varsity and you're sophomore, junior, I shouldn't say sophomore, but if you're a junior sitting the bench on varsity, you probably not a Division I talent. Like, sorry to say it. Like, you're not. You know what I mean? Like, you got to understand who you are. Like, okay, I get it. Yeah, you might play at a 6A school that's really fucking good and you sit the bench because the guy in front of you is really good. Got it, right? But you're still not starting, right? So, like, don't oversell yourself in your head thinking that you're someone you're not. You got to know who you are. Yeah. Because all it takes, like, just like Simon Miller, like, going back to that conversation, he played at an NAIA. He was an NAIA pitcher. He played at LSU Shreveport, right?
Yes.
And was there for a year, right? Well, he was there for 1 year. Now he is about to get drafted. Yeah. Right? It's all about timing. Simon Miller was 84 to 86 at LSUS, and now he's 95 to 97.
He kept working.
Dude, it's all timeline stuff, man. So, like, going to junior college might be the best thing for you.
And with that, too, man, like, have fun with it. Enjoy the process. Because I look back and it's like some of the schools that I got to talk to it's like I laugh about it now, but it's awesome to be able to tell my kids one day, it's like I got to talk to so-and-so coach from so-and-so school, right? And have fun with it. Entertain all the schools that call, right? Don't turn anyone down because, again, that's a slap in the face, right? Entertain everyone that calls, and then when you find the fit, man, make the most of it.
Yeah.
Well, all right, guys. I think we kind of captured it. Any last parting words on that?
Just go get better, man. Go be the best you can be.
I like that. I think that getting better is important because you can always. There's not a direct path to every goal, right? You just need to keep working, and if the mechanism for you to get to your ultimate goal of D1 ball involves JUCO or NAIA, you do what you got to do to get to where you got.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, you can't lose sight of that. At the end of the day, that's what it's about. right? You keep working and punching that time card every single day. Like, you'll be surprised at where that gets you in the long run. Because it's a long game, man. It's a long game. It ain't happening overnight. So you just got to make the most of it each and every day.
Yep. We appreciate
y'all.
y'all.
Be good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.